Welcome to Switch Comics. My name is Marco, and today I want to tell you that I think it is a pretty good time to be buying comics. So, there's been a lot of talk, and I have extensive opinions on this, but a lot of people seem to be thinking the comic market is crashing, all the prices are going down, which I wouldn't say all the prices. We still have lots of new spec popping up. We have, for whatever reason, nobody will let Elsa Bloodstone books go any cheaper, even though I desperately want them. But that being said, I do think it is a great time because I do think a lot of things are kind of leveling out. I think in the past year or two, we've had a lot of new sellers enter the market, a lot of new buyers enter the market as well. But specifically with a lot of new sellers entering the market, specifically there, a lot of people that are trying to specifically, just make money in the hobby. It's been a bit of a learning curve, and also, again, I stand by that. The market is adapting very quickly, and I don't think everyone's keeping up with that. Again, just as a short little example, with selling comics, it used to be, you'd want to sell the comic when the movie came out. Let's just say, it's whatever, Deadpool, and then so you sell the first appearance of Deadpool when the movie came out, and then at some point it transitioned to, well, you actually want to sell it when the trailer comes out, and then it just keeps getting pushed farther and farther back, where it kind of feels like the best time to sell is when the announcement is made, and like after that it's all kind of downhill from there, or at least stagnation, and more importantly, oversaturation. Where, like, for example, when we got the Thor Love and Thunder trailer, and then we got, everybody was selling their Thor #1, their Jane Foster stuff. And it was before the trailer, it was about a $300 book at a 9.8. Trailer came out, received positively, everybody was like, yeah, she looks pretty good. And then the market just exploded with that copy, with a bunch of 9.8, in various grades, but even just focusing on 9.8 so we can stick to a price. So everybody listed their books for $300. The problem is there's so many people that even when that book sells at $300, because you're going to have some buyers for it, but now you have so many people waiting, expecting this to be their payday, and their copies aren't selling. Just because their copies aren't even being seen, because there's so many options to choose from of the same book. So what ends up happening is somebody accepts $290, and then somebody accepts $280 and $270 and $250, and the book's been going down in price just because, again, everything goes down to supply and demand. So all of a sudden the supply went through the roof, just absolutely astronomical, and it makes complete sense that would make the price go down, because it's basic economics. But people aren't getting it. When everyone knows what time to sell a comic, so everyone jumps in on that, it's no longer the time to sell the comic. And I think there's been a lot of growing pains. Making money selling comics isn't an easy thing that you can just go do. For example, and again, I work at a comic shop. I've had, and this is a big level of ignorance, but it just goes to show you, a little example here. I've had people walk into the shop and ask the question, and this has happened multiple times, where they say, where are the books at that are going to go up in value? And specifically, it's one thing if you're, a collector and you're like, I want to buy blue chip keys that will forever hold its value and only go up as it gets older and more sought after. That's a different question. The specific question, even though not exactly how they worded it, they're more or less asking, where's the dollar comics that I can sell for $1,000 in a year from now? People think it's that easy, and even taking it a level above that, where you have some comic knowledge, it's still, I think people are finding it's not as easy as you think it is. The people that are really benefiting right now, and have been benefiting, are the people with foresight. And for example, like Thunderbolts just got announced. So the people with the foresight that bought Hulk 449 are the people that really benefited. They had that, and they had their 98s and whatever ready to go. They made a ton of money. Now it's going to be harder to get into it. Now, granted, that book might still go up. We have a lot of time for. We don't exactly know who's all going to be on the Thunderbolts, this, that, and whatever. There's a lot of things that could happen to make that book go up in value. That being said, the people that bought that book cheap, with the foresight, years back, or even a year back, and then sold on that announcement, they made a good profit. You can guarantee that they made a good profit. And I'm just kind of going to say that I think there's a big lack of understanding of how the market works, and with the big influx of new people, new buyers, new sellers, all of it coming to the market, things are changing and trying to correct, and people getting frustrated, and there's just a lot of things going on. So with that, there's a little bit of you can take advantage of some people. So I don't want to say what comic I just bought, because I'm going to be showing it off in a haul video sometime soon, but I got a cool comic I've been wanting to get, and I guess I can tell you the prices. So originally I saw it for $80, not a huge book, but $80 or best offer, and I was like, I had a lot of other things I've been trying to buy and get, and a lot of life things also happening, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna spend $80 on it yet. And then but I like to put things on eBay. I like to watch them, because people will send you offers, or you just get news and updates on it or whatever. Sometimes you get some good deals that way. So I always like to watch things. And I've been watching this for a while, and eventually they decided, you know what, I'll cut this down to $70 or best offer. So to me, that reeked of desperation, which I'm all about. I'm totally about. So what I did was then I made an offer, and I got that book for $60, and I felt very good about that. So at $80, and that's the thing too, because I always feel kind of bad shooting too low ball of an offer, because if you insult somebody right off the bat, you may just lose your opportunity. They may not accept any offer you send to them at that point. So maybe if I sent that offer a month or 2 months back, they would have $60, get out of my face with that. However, $60 now, again, because I've been watching this listing for a while, and they're desperate to sell it. They want to make people that are in this to make money want to make money, and they're frustrated that they're not, because they don't understand the issues and in their selling tactics, and they don't understand the errors that they've made, and so now they're desperate. And I guess I kind of come off as a little bit of a rude person when I say take advantage of the desperate. But you know what? I'm not made out of money. I'm out here just trying to get some cool comics. And so I'm going to tell you, take advantage. Now, I guess it's a different situation if, someone really desperately needs money and you're basically scamming them because they don't have any other choice. I guess that's a different thing. But in this situation, with a lot of people just more so desperate because they feel like everything that they're doing is failing. They're losing money on these comics, and they a lot of people even just want to recoup some of the cost that they've put into this. You can find some interesting deals to be had. I always look for, for example, I did a lot of buying in this past December, because again, people were desperate because they wanted Christmas money. So if you do it early December, I felt like it was a really good time to buy. People were accepting what I thought were really good offers on my end. There's certain things that I also in December thought was, as far as auctions go, kind of the more obscure things. Now, granted, you're not going to go get a Spider-Man 129 at an auction for a really good price, because people are going to be watching that book. But I picked up a awesome Liber Mayho Silver Surfer 1 in 25 variant that I thought was super, super sick. But it wasn't, it was kind of a little bit on the obscure side. It wasn't something that people need, it wasn't a huge thing. And so that auction wasn't a priority, because people were like, I need my Christmas money, Granted, people always be spending big money on big books, but that was like, that's not as important right now. So, which I guess is also important to know if you're selling. I always tell people, even if you're not a seller, you should still know when to buy and when to sell, because it affects you as a buyer. A lot of people, when I talk about, the market and knowing when to sell and all this stuff, all that is very pertinent information to a buyer. I'm way more of a buyer than a seller. I very rarely sell comics. When I do, I've sold more comics in like mystery boxes than I have like just regular comics. I think I've really only sold a handful of comics. I'm not a big seller, but understanding the market helps me make informed decisions to save me money. Even if it is saving me money so that I can make money and end up using that money to buy something else. It's like not really saving money because I don't have money at the end of the day, but that money translated into a bigger comic or something. Those types of plays will get you farther in your comic collecting journey. I will state, obviously don't be expecting everybody to be so desperate. I had another comic I was looking at on eBay. The guy had it for $125 at an auction. That was the starting price. And then I actually missed the auction. I didn't see it until later, but no one bid on it. So it just, it ended. He relisted it as a buy it now at $150 or best offer. And so I shot him a best offer of $100, and it was auto declined. And then I shot him a best offer at $120, and it was auto declined as well. So I'm pretty positive he has it set up to at least be $125 is my guess, or to auto decline. And I was like, you know what? He doesn't seem too desperate. He doesn't really seem, because to me, I thought that was a foolish play. If I was trying to sell a comic, I started my bid at $125, and nobody bid on it, then that tells me my price was probably too high. There was some interest, and that's the thing. When you put your starting bid at a price that's really close to what it's going to end up as anyway, you're going to get less traffic. I know you can maybe get screwed out, because if you started the bid at a penny and then it, got overlooked and only sold for $5, oh no, you've made a big mistake. But at the same time, like, if you started it at a penny, you're going to have a lot more eyes on it. And the problem is starting at $125, and maybe if it only could maximally go up to $150, we'll say, you're just not going to have that many people looking at it. No, nobody's that interested, because it's like, whatever, a couple bids and it'll be at full price, Where at least, even though usually the bids that start at a penny end up going to full price anyway, sometimes more, it's the fact that I think it enthralls people, because it's like, there's the chance I could get a deal on it. So it'll draw in some attention. I'm going to do a quick little ad break to say, if you would like to support the channel, I am making mini slab keychains. Currently selling these on Instagram, $3 a piece or 2 for $5. This is a limited time price, as I'm just getting started on these. And I've been learning that these take up a lot of time. I've literally been making them every single day, trying to catch up with orders. So these will be going up in price. If you are interested, shoot me a message. I can send you a picture of all the different ones I have and whatnot. If there's custom ones you want to make, those are $5 a piece on custom ones. But yeah, if you're interested, shoot me a message on Instagram, and I can talk to you about those and show you what I have and everything like that. And again, like, good way to support the channel if you're interested. But let's go ahead and finish up and wrap up with this conversation. So like I was saying, the guy, he didn't accept 100, it auto declined, 120 auto declined. So to me, that guy isn't super desperate. I was able to pick that up, because again, if it was I that was trying to sell that comic, nobody bid on 125, then I'm like, well, if I want to start it as an auction again, I'd be like, well, I'd probably go for like 75, honestly, or like even 50, just to get people interested in looking at it, and hopefully bid it up and just see what it is. But you have people that are just trying to make some amount of money, and then you have people that are like, this is the price that I'm asking for. If I don't get it, then I'm not selling it. You know, you have those people that are hard set. Now, some of those people can be withered down depending on the circumstance. Like I said, I feel like a lot of new seller, or people that have recently gotten to the hobby within the last year or so, hoping to make some money and making some bad calls. Because that's the thing, selling comics, obviously the more experience you have with it, the better you do. So when we have these new people hopping into it, thinking that this is easy, and the rules are easy and set in stone, when they're not, they're going to be making a bunch of mistakes, and they have been making a bunch of mistakes, and you can potentially capitalize off of that. So it's important to know, like I said, for that other guy, I stopped at 120. I sent that bid, and because honestly, I probably was going to bid on it at 125, and I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna mess around with it. So, and sometimes you can lose out on this. You can wait too long. Somebody else could buy that comic, and I could be screwed. I look at everybody else's, and now everybody else is more expensive. It happens. Sometimes playing the patient waiting game does work out. Like I said, I could have bought that comic. Honestly, if I paid that other comic for $80 a while back, I probably would have been okay with that, because it's one that I really want. It's not one that I really expect to go up or down in value at any time, but I waited until the seller got more desperate. I saw them mark down the price and still left the best offer feature on it, which told me they were willing to just take some amount of money for it. They wanted some amount of money for their product. So, and honestly, when I show you what it is, they probably ended up losing money on that sell. They probably did, because there's a lot of people. It's a newer comic, we'll say. Without, again, I don't want to spoil it, but a lot of people, get excited and grade these new comics, and whether it's because of it's an exclusive or it's a key or this, that, or whatever. And then, granted, there's a lot of comics that you can do that and you can make money on it, but there's quite a few people that, again, aren't too knowledgeable, and they start doing this and end up taking a loss. So, yeah, I can't wait to show it to you. I'm super, super excited, but just keep your eyes out for auctions. Especially, I love books that might be a little more obscure, but just auctions in general, just keep your eye peeled. You might be able to find some deals, because people are, even if I don't think personally myself that the comic market is crashing, it's important to note that that is a common thought throughout everyone. So buying is a little weird right now, as far as like, there's not like how it was where people were just throwing all kinds of money into comics. People are now in this new point of being reserved in buying, and that is kind of when it's a really good spot to start buying. Now, will it get better buying moving forward? I can't predict that with any amounts of certainty. It's possible, but I know at the moment there is opportunities to make good deals as a buyer and get yourself, again, find those people that just want some amount of money. It won't be every seller that's like that, and especially if you find an experienced seller that knows what they're doing and has been doing it for a long time, probably going to be harder to crack. But if you, and again, this person that I did buy the comic from, I looked at their page and they had very little comics, very little anything on their eBay page. So this wasn't a big timer, you know what I mean? So find these people that, for lack of better words, don't really know what they're doing and just want some money. And maybe you can get yourself some cool comics for a good price. So, of course, I would love to know what you all think about this. Are you all buying comics right now? Are you all holding off? Do you agree with me to some sentiment? Or, do you disagree with me completely? Do you think everything I've said is ludicrous? Do you want some keychains? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to talk about this conversation, because I don't think there's black and white rules. You know what I mean? I think there's certain things that are true at certain times, and then maybe a week from now those rules have changed. You know what I mean? So I'd love to know what everyone thinks. This is something that I pay heavy attention to, again, because as a buyer, I want to know when the best time is to buy comics. But thank you all so much for watching the video, and I will see you next time.